let's get right to it. This is The C Show. Connor, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's Wrestlemania weekend.
We'll be dancing and praying for all our loved ones to hear because it's Wrestlemania. Sorry, Andy Williams. This is part 1 of 2 of our Wrestlemania special. So this is 008.1, and then point 2 will come out on Thursday, Wednesday night. We'll see. So thank you for joining us. This should be coming out Monday evening after Raw. So hopefully you've seen Raw and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And we'll be connecting the dots from Friday and Saturday night as well. As we get into it, it is Smackdown, the go-home show. We're in Vegas. We are at T-Mobile Stadium where the Vegas Golden Knights play. The one thing that I did want to say about pre-show was, did you see Cody sitting down to sign autographs?
Oh, I did.
And he had like his vest on and everything, but he also had the glasses on and like down the bridge of his nose like Ebenezer Scrooge. I very much enjoyed that. Before the show started, LA Knight attacked Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa as they're getting out of the SUV. And you know, the bar is pretty high here, right?
Yeah, so Knight comes out and you see him slam Tama Tonga's hand in a car door.
Yep.
And he'll actually address that a little later as we keep going. Mm-hmm. But to really kick us off, right, the first main piece here is we have a little Seth Rollins town hall. Yep.
And, you know, Seth does take, this time to call out CM Punk, to call out Roman Reigns. He talks about when Punk left the WWE and he came back, like when he burned that bridge with AEW, like he did every bridge, he came back and in bold, I wrote, they wrote him another big fat check.
Did you notice how he was sitting?
Yeah, pipe bomb style.
Just like crisscross applesauce.
Did you notice how he took the Smackdown flag off?
Oh, no.
The thing that's on the microphone that's got the Smackdown or Raw logo.
I missed that.
It's called a mic flag, and he just ripped that off.
That's very cool.
I know, yeah. So I was like, oh, yeah, he's definitely trying to mock Punk. It's not an emulation. It's a mockery. The crowd starts chanting for Roman Reigns, the one true tribal chief. OTC only cares about OTC, right? While the crowd still chants for Roman Reigns, Seth goes on to talk about how Punk and Reigns know nothing about sacrifice. He knows everything about sacrifice. It all started 12 years ago with Paul Heyman. He brought the Shield members into the WWE to be a shield for Roman Reigns, to protect Roman Reigns, essentially.
For CM Punk.
Against CM Punk, yes. Right?
No, so when the Shield originally came in, they were originally Paul Heyman's creation to protect CM Punk. Again, CM Punk used to be a Paul Heyman guy during his championship runs. He was with Heyman.
Gotcha.
So they were literally brought in as a Shield to protect CM Punk. And that's why Rollins said he got no credit for being the Shield for CM Punk as well. There's a little wordplay he did there.
Okay. Yeah, no, because I misunderstood that then critically, where I was thinking that, where it was a shield for Roman. And I was reading that. That's how I was reading the Wikipedia page. So
no, Roman's just part of the Shield.
Gotcha.
And then as Roman kind of got that bigger push and was separating himself, it kind of did become more about Roman. And then that led to the implosion.
Gotcha.
It's like a little A, little B kind of.
Okay. Understood. So Seth sacrificed everything that he had. He got no credit. The spotlight just went on to Roman. It went on to John Cena. It's going to go on to the next cash cow, Jey Uso. Yeet. And so it came to a head last year during WrestleMania. His stepdad was dying of cancer at home. His knee was hanging on by a thread. He was there to be a shield for Roman in the past, but now he's there to make sure that Roman Reigns loses in the past and in the present and in the future. So again, he talks about how this is one of the most important matches for the industry at large. It's a battle for the soul of the business, and it ends tomorrow night. And he says, I promise you, I will do what I have done for the past 12 years, lay it all on the line, sacrifice everything to make sure this business moves forward in the right direction. How does he end it, Connor?
It ends tomorrow. That's not a prediction. It's a spoiler.
The classic Heyman line. Yeah, no, incredible. Where Punk has had many opportunities to just talk straight to camera for 40 minutes on a show to open up a show. Seth really hasn't gotten that opportunity, and he really took full advantage of it.
Yeah, fantastic segment.
So moving in after that, we go right into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. I have to say, this is like a really cool trophy. Just the size of it, honestly. I was like, at the end, I was like, why aren't they picking that up? And then I realized
it's massive.
It's huge. It's not like the Stanley Cup, where, the Stanley Cup, they take pieces off of it, right?
Yeah, to fill in new like nameplates and all, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So what I'll say about this, so it's a battle royal, so think Royal Rumble, you have to be eliminated over the top rope. Mm-hmm. But I actually didn't understand this at first. I was trying to keep track of everyone who was coming in. I'm like, all right, Rey Fenix is 1, Shinsuke is 2. They go to commercial, come back, and I literally just wrote, oh, everyone else is in the ring. Everyone else is just here already.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they're going to do everything like Royal Rumble, where it's just going to be a little bit quicker. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, so it's just 30 people starting in the ring. I'll do 26 superstars. I'll do my best to kind of buzz through all of these, hit any notes or questions that I have along the way. So R-Truth immediately starts by taking Carlito's apple and then eliminating him.
He takes a bite of the apple.
Oh yeah, he takes it, bites it, the whole bit. Mm-hmm. Miz eliminates R-Truth. Rey Fenix eliminates both of the Garzas, continuing that feud. A-Town Down Under eliminates Pretty Deadly. Ludwig kills Nate. If you remember Nate from the debut match with Rey Fenix, he like kills him with this crazy stomp to eliminate him. Like, he kicked the hell out of him. Mm-hmm. Phoenix eliminates Santos Escobar. The Creed brothers eliminate Tozawa. Otis takes himself and both Creed brothers out by trying to do a clothesline over the top rope, and all three of them just tip big style. Mm-hmm. Andrade eliminates both members of A-Town Down Under. All the luchadors pick on Chad Gable because all my homies hate Chad Gable. Mm-hmm. Cross gets eliminated by Rey Fenix. Shinsuke eliminates Dragon Lee. Dunn eliminates Kaiser. And then The Miz, Pete Dunne, that is. Hayes eliminates Dunn. Andrade eliminates Shinsuke. El Grande Americano, who is not in the match, runs in and eliminates Rey Fenix. We're down to Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. Mm-hmm. And then they have a great back and forth, reminiscent to their Best of 7 series earlier this year. And Hayes ends up pulling out the win.
Yeah, no, I was really blown away with the speed at how this match played out, the amount of action, and then just the amount of just like how fun it was. Like, there was a lot going on in it. You had all of the luchador action. You had a couple different styles going on. You had some of the English guys bouncing around and doing their somersaults and stuff as well. One of my favorite parts was Phoenix being teamed up by Los Garza and Berto and Angel, and then getting thrown out, or throwing both of them out. Pretty Deadly throwing out A-Town Down Under was great. My favorite, my move of the match, though, was the Andrade up top drop kick. I don't know if you saw that, but I think Andrade definitely is like MVP of the Battle Royale for me. Either Andrade or Phoenix. But Mello winning it, Mello was fantastic throughout. So really fantastic, really great to see that. Mello don't miss, awesome, all of that good stuff. Mello and Hayes, or Mello Hayes, Mello and The Miz celebrate with the trophy. And again, I was just like, why is he just like putting his knee up on it? And I was like, oh my gosh,
it is humongous.
Like Andre the Giant, it is big.
So through WrestleMania weekend, they have even way more than we can cover. They have a pre-show each day. So they real quick show us just a little bit of a interview with Charlotte and Wade Barrett. Yep. They give us the little clip. They say, if you want to see the rest of it, tune into the 2 or whatever hour pre-show before WrestleMania.
The 2-hour pre-show and the 2-hour post-show. And make sure not to miss the Hall of Fame ceremony, and don't miss
who everyone was sleeping at,
and don't miss Stand and Deliver, and don't miss. Was there something else? Is there something else today during the day?
I don't know. There's a lot of like the different WWE World like signings and all, like just a lot of meet and greet stuff.
Yeah, they got to generate revenue.
Not to mention their call time super early for a show this big.
Yeah, exactly.
So the real quick of that is Charlotte saying that both her and Tiffy both have chips on their shoulder. Mm-hmm. This isn't the way she really would have wanted it to happen, but people are invested now. Mm-hmm. And then just double down on that you need thick skin in this business.
Yeah, sometimes it can be insensitive, but that's how you get tough skin. Yeah. We get a mention here about Tama Tonga being taken to a local medical facility to review injuries sustained before the show. LA Knight closing the car door on his hands. But then we go into Rhea Ripley and her coming out for a quick town hall. She talks about how this is going to be her 6th Mania. It might be the most important. She got distracted by Bianca. She lost the championship. She doesn't want to complain. She doesn't want to make excuses. Sunday, today when we're recording, she's going to get back what she wants.
Yeah, she actually took responsibility. She claimed it was my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like just total, good manager style. Like, hey, no, that's on me and I'm going to fix it this Sunday.
Exactly.
But, of course it wasn't stopping here.
Yeah, no, it was not stopping here. Io Sky comes out in an incredible outfit. I loved the card corset on theme. Just perfect. You love to see it.
Before she can even say a word, literally, I write, hi, Io, and underneath I write, get fucked, let Io speak. Because as Io goes to say her first word, Bianca's music hit, and she comes out.
Yeah.
Basically saying, you didn't think I was going to show up. This could be the last time I'm on SmackDown. If I win, I'll be on Raw with the Women's Championship.
I have some confusion about that, but I'm sure we could talk about that on a future episode. But like, depending on which championship you hold, it's tied to the Monday or Friday show?
Yes.
Okay.
Technically, the heavyweight championship, like for the men, the heavyweight championship is Raw's, and the Undisputed Championship is SmackDown's. Now, that line got crossed a lot last year because the Roman Cody thing was back and forth on both shows, but it's the same with the Women's Championship. The Women's World Champion with Tiffany Stratton is on SmackDown.
Charlotte, yeah.
Right, and the one that the Women's Heavyweight Championship, the Women's World Championship that Io currently holds belongs to Raw.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. We'll talk way more about that in the future at some point. Bianca is starting to get going here. She's starting to catch some momentum, but it's now time for Naomi. I wrote in here, the Eminem song Stan?
Yes, big Stan vibes.
Yeah. No love for Naomi. I keep writing you, Bianca. You don't answer.
Voicemail box is full. My text says delivered. It says it. Yeah.
So, Naomi wanted to handle this in private. Bianca doesn't want to do it. I said what I said, and I meant it. Rhea in the back is just loving the tea. She's just having so much fun with it. Naomi says, Jade wasn't there for you like I was, but tomorrow I'm going to finish what I started. And then Jade comes out in an incredible jumpsuit. She looked like Shigo from Kim Possible.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, perfect.
So Naomi bails, obviously. Jade comes in, is yelling at Bianca. Naomi comes back for a sneak attack, and Jade gets pushed into Bianca and into Rhea. Rhea and Bianca start fighting. Then Io Sky just moonsaults it. They all end up fighting outside, and Io Sky is like, I will just moonsault everyone. I will stand tall, get bent. We're out of here.
Naomi runs towards the gorilla position up the ramp to safety. Backstage, we cut to Rey Fenix and him being taunted by American Made. Chad Gable, of course, leading these taunts. Dragon Lee steps in to help stand up for his luchador brother. Really, at the end of the day here, El Grande Americano sucks. There's some updates there between the El Grande Americano match and Rey Mysterio, which we'll get to in a moment here. They talk about how El Grande Americano is going to learn some real Lucha Libre at Mania. And, they pitch a 6-man tag team. And Rey just says, okay, I'm going to go talk to Aldis about this. So,
yeah, 6-man tag match on the way for later tonight.
Yeah. With some consequences for night one of Mania that we'll get to in a moment here. We now have the title match for the Tag Team Championship, Motor City Machine Guns versus the Street Profits. Motor City Machine Guns start out early here. We've got Sabin attacking Montez Ford, slamming him against the barricade, dragging him back into the ring. Dawkins hits this incredible slam against Sabin in the middle and runs back into a corner to hit the Sui, the Cristiano Ronaldo move. Dawkins is a big Real Madrid fan. There is this incredible blockbuster doomsday device. And Connor, if you can describe that for me. So you're standing? At least help me describe it.
So think like chicken fight style in a pool to start.
That's great.
So one person, one member of the tag team is on is holding the other person on their shoulders, chicken fight style. The person on the other team, then your partner will basically jump off the top rope and deliver a clothesline to the person sitting on your shoulders. The Road Warriors
pioneered this.
Yes, exactly. The Doomsday Device was their thing. What a rush. Yeah.
Interesting.
So my move of the match for this was Ford does a dive where he jumps up and then actually over the ring post to the outside. So he got himself basically thrown up off the turnbuckle over the post and then landed a sweet dive on the outside. And the finish here, because of course it can't just be regular, DIY attacks,
right,
and actually steals the tag team titles and runs away, like interferes in the match, gets the match thrown out, and then takes the titles and dip.
Yeah, so we end with a no contest here. The title doesn't change. And Street Profits retain. Backstage, we've got Chelsea Green and the Secret Service. They're talking with Nick Aldis. One thing I did notice that Piper's flag pin is upside down. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, I did not know.
But if you hang the United States flag upside down with the stars on the bottom, it's usually a sign of distress. So thank you, Piper. I don't know if she's doing that on purpose, but thank you, Piper.
So Chelsea literally serves Nick Aldis papers about the count out from last week, saying it was an unfair count.
Chelsea wants to rectify the injustices provided to her.
And Aldis like, you know what? You're right. I know you guys are supposed to have a 6-woman tag team match tonight. We're actually just going to give Selena her shot again.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, Secret Service is not allowed at ringside.
Yeah, I thought, again, this is just great management from Aldis. Aldis proving that I think he's a better general manager than Pierce. Pierce kind of just doesn't have a handle on the situation, in my opinion.
Well, and then the next thing is him stepping up and doing more good work for us. Because him and security stopped DIYing the bags. Like, come on, guys. Like, easy way or the hard way. What's going on here?
Yep.
They're like, what do you mean? These are ours. So now all the tag teams from tonight are there. Motor City Machine Guns.
We're getting
DIY. And good.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to jump ahead and say we've got a TLC match coming up next week.
Which is so frustrating. Like, it could have been on Mania instead of like... But they need something to really bring the people in after.
Right, to keep it going
exactly,
afterwards.
To keep those numbers.
Yeah, because they're going to have to create a new storyline anyways, or new storylines. But yeah, no, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, Street Profits, DIY, and Motor City Machine Guns will meet Friday in a TLC match for the titles.
Absolutely. Next up, we've got Randy in the ring. The voices, they talk to me. You know, we're bummed for Randy. Randy doesn't have an opponent at WrestleMania after Kevin Owens had to drop out due to medical issues with his neck. Randy talks about how his dad was at Mania 1, Bob Orton Sr. He's been at Manias since WrestleMania 20. He wants to compete for the 20th time this weekend. You know, just putting it out there into the energy, you know, manifesting it. Sunday, I'm going to show up ready to go later on this afternoon. Just have the right amount of baby oil. Not a surplus, like a regular, normal amount of baby oil to lock in, to do it for the audience, for the family, the boys in the back. I'm like, yes, Randy. I'm about to run through a brick wall for Randy. Anyone wants to take me on, let's go. You will meet the 3 most dangerous letters in sports entertainment, RKO.
So what he did here is he set up an open challenge, essentially.
Gotcha.
So he is saying... anyone that's around, if you want some, come get some, which again is very funny. John Cena for the longest time with his US Championship did an open challenge. So to kind of have Randy do one here, I think that's on purpose and homage. And I'm really excited to see who's going to step up and take on Randy.
You know who I think might do it now?
Who?
Mello.
Oh, wins the maybe.
Yeah.
There's something there. Because they had a match before too. That was good.
And they're trying to push Mello Don't Miz, obviously, and that would honestly, I think that would be a really good matchup.
They had a good match before. I think they can continue to be good.
All right, so yeah, let's see where Randy's open challenge gets us Sunday afternoon. Of course, you'll be hopefully listening after. We get a recap of the Priest McIntyre face-off during the kickoff show. Blah 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 blah. The street fight is going to be awesome, but let's get back to it. We finally get confirmation on when Aleister Black is going to return to the WWE. Did you see Zelina Vega's reaction?
I did not see her specifically. No, I assume very excited for her man.
I posted it on the C Show story on our Instagram story.
Oh, I must have missed that.
No, it's all good. I'll send it to you again. But yeah, no, she was loving it. She was enjoying it. I think she like literally laid up on the ropes between a turnbuckle and then just like started pointing up. It was just like, yeah, very nice, very nice. Love to see it.
Yeah.
But Zelina and Chelsea are up next here. So our boy Charles Robinson is refereeing this match. And Chelsea and Zelina just get started early. Chelsea goes on the ground and pound game. Chelsea Green salutes and Wade Barrett simps. There is some slander against our man Charles Robinson, which I don't agree with. And there is some, as they get outside of the ring, Zelina throws Chelsea over the barricade into the timekeeper's area. So as Chelsea has been arguing about the 10 count, the past week.
Yeah.
She's getting counted out by Charles, and it's just like, okay, fine then. I'm going to snap right back to it. Like they run back to the ring. So, do you have anything to get to before my move of the match and the finale to this?
So first, I just want to mention this is a non-championship match.
Mm-hmm.
This is not for the Women's United States Championship. This is basically a what some people call a proving ground match, meaning you beat the champion, you get a shot at the championship. My move of the match was actually just earlier because it just looked very good. Was when Chelsea got tossed in the timekeeper's area.
Yep,
Selena just absolutely launched her over the barricade, and she just took it really well. What was your move of the match?
So Vega bringing Chelsea down from the top rope, pinning Chelsea to win. That was my move of the match.
So she did her finisher, the Code Red. She did it from the second rope. They called it a Super Code Red. So people would call it an avalanche. It's kind of like a destroyer where she sets her up and basically like does a flip, bring Chelsea along and bangs her on, the back of her head, her shoulders and her back. But
gotcha.
you know how good it looks. But no, she wins, and they're like, this, all but guarantees a shot at this title.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Zelina is really exciting to watch. And maybe some interesting shakeups for Chelsea there. Some interesting shakeups for her character. Back in the ring, we've got LA Knight for a quick town hall, prepping for his match at WrestleMania on Saturday night. He's talking about how he got rid of Tama, he's going to get rid of Solo, and then it's just going to be me and Jacob Fatu. You ain't ever seen anything like me, and Jacob Fatu, you will eat a BFT. As he says this, Solo Sikoa comes out. Solo and LA Knight go at it for a minute, and LA Knight runs out towards the ramp. Solo throws Knight into the stairs, and then as we cut back from a commercial break, it's just a full match of LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa. As LA Knight gets the knee, Sikoa tries to drop him, Fatu and LA Knight off the turnbuckle. And then the bell rings as Braun Strowman comes to the rescue. Aldis doesn't want to wait. Aldis comes out with a mic. Fatu doesn't want to wait. And they all decide, let's turn this into a tag team match. LA Knight and Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa.
Yeah, someone's coming along here. Again, the original match was just Knight versus Solo.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob Fatu comes out. Strowman needs to make the save. My move of the match when we got to the tag team part was Strowman does a Strowman Express where he like revs up outside the ring and pretends to like shoulder tackle people. Mm-hmm. And both Solo and Jacob Fatu were just kind of like, didn't really sell it. So that was my move of the match. And our finish here we get to is when LA Knight hits a blunt force trauma, right? Stands in front of him. Basically grabs him almost stunner style, falls forward, slams his face to the mat.
So I have a quick question. What's the difference between a BFT and an RKO?
The difference really is that the BFT, he holds on to the back of your head and like he's basically throwing himself like back onto his stomach, like kind of pulling you back into yourself. The RKO is a cutter where he basically like usually tries to jump away from you, like kind of like extend you more.
So one is bringing you in and one is
essentially, yeah.
Okay. All right. No, that's great. Thank you very much for that. Well, Wade interviewed Charlotte Flair. We do have to get Tiffany's side of the story. as well. So again, another interview in the bonus materials of if you will, of WrestleMania. Tiffany talks about how she has felt bullied, abused. She's felt less than. Talked about moments of panic and how she's turning this into inspiration. Charlotte doesn't have to like me, but she does have to respect me. What if Tiffy time ends? It won't.
So Tiffy said that she came prepared and delivered the kill shot. I absolutely agree with that.
Yep. And
says that she's standing up to a bully now. And Charlotte has had a reputation for a while of how she treats people in the back. This very much seems, and the match that we'll talk about in a minute definitely seemed very real to life for a little bit there.
Absolutely.
But then we jump into this 6-man tag. We got Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, and Rey Fenix versus American Made of Chad Gable and Brutus and Julius Creed.
Can I just talk about the last thing that Tiffany says?
Sure.
She says she's going to walk in and walk out as the champion at WrestleMania.
Hell yeah.
But yes, we do have this 6-man tag team match between LWO and American Made. Phoenix just dominates early, just fabulous stuff. Tags in Dragon Lee. As Lee gets a crossbody to try to pin on Julius Creed of American Made, Chad Gable breaks it up. American Made does the all three corners flying headbutt, which is I think my move of the match. As much as we talk shit on American Made, like that was really cool, and the way how they do it and they time it is really amazing to watch.
Yeah, mine here is more of a moment of the match, and again, it was so this is the match where Rey Mysterio gets hurt.
Yeah.
And he's chasing Gable around the ring. And as he goes to slide in, I believe it was Julius Creed pulls him off the apron.
Yep.
And the fall didn't look too bad. Like, it didn't look like anything crazy, but we did not see Ray for the remainder of the match.
Yep.
He was shown, off feed by fans in the arena and all, being helped to the back. And then they announced that he would not compete Saturday and would be replaced by Rey Fenix for the match against El Grande Americano.
Like, honestly, only a few hours before Mania. I think it was like because it started, Mania kicked off at 7 p.m. Eastern last night, and I think it was like, I want to say like 2 or 3 when they posted that on Instagram, when WWE announced it, on socials at least. We hope Ray gets well soon. We know Ray has had a number of health issues recently, so we just hope that Ray gets well so we can see him doing all of that incredible Lucha Libre action in the ring. To wrap up SmackDown, we've got a Cody Rhodes town hall here. As soon as he brings the mic up to his lips, John Cena's music plays. And of course, the crowd playing along. The Vegas crowd was pretty fantastic. And I mean, I have to assume that this is like the cream of the crop of WWE fans. But of course, they were singing along with Seth Rollins earlier. They're singing along, John Cena sucks, John Cena sucks. It's just a face-off in the middle of the ring. And as Cody starts to speak again, John just snaps and just goes, "Shut your mouth, kid." He talks about the 20 Manias that he's been in, how this is his 12th title match at WrestleMania. It's his last Mania opportunity. No one has the courage to end my career the way I have. You have no way to face a man who knows he's about to die. There's no such thing as a wrestling retirement. There's always one more match. Every wrestler is a scared, insecure loser, which is, I think, a very interesting point that John Cena brings up. He says that they need the audience to care about them. I have love, joy, and worth in my life. I don't need any of you. He went to therapy a 3rd time. Don't say I warn you, because I did. Sunday, I did tell you, and this is again referring to a anecdote that John Cena has told Cody about the WWE undisputed title weighing more every single day. And so again, on Sunday, it's going to become too heavy for you to hold, and you're going to lose. You care too much about them. You people do not write history. Winners do.
Cena says that he's going to make Cody somebody, and that he is still just a kid in a man's world. Cody immediately fires back, saying that John doesn't know any of these people, that if Cody is underwhelming, then John is overrated. He calls out his stack of dimes for a neck, his famous Stone Cold quote about having a stack of dimes for a neck. Talks about how he saw you butt-ass naked at the Oscars for the people who you run errands for, and you still can't wrestle.
He's paler than Sting at SummerSlam 97.
Oh, yeah, Starrcade or whatever.
Starrcade 97, that's what it was. I worshipped you. You only show up when you want. You don't even know the crew's name. Which I feel like is an incredible dig there from Cody. Cena says, on Sunday, I don't have to wrestle. And he bops Cody, puts him on the shoulders, and Cody counters into a crossroads. And the show ends. A fantastic go-home show for Smackdown. A final show before Mania.
Absolutely. Set up a lot for a really great night one that we'll get into here in just 1 second.
Yeah, so we'll be right back here on the C Show. Thank you so much for joining us on the first part of our WrestleMania recap. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to the C Show. By the way, I'm Charlie.
I'm Connor.
Okay, I keep forgetting to do that, but again, it's WrestleMania. We're a little distracted right now. Again, it's Mania. It's Saturday night. We're talking about the first night of WrestleMania in Las Vegas. Something, Connor, you brought up pre-show that I wanted to talk about and just sort of ponder on for a minute is some of the prop bets available for WrestleMania.
I always find it so funny that you can wager on wrestling. Like again, we talked about, it's not fake, it's predetermined, wherever. But again, the fact that they've made a decision of this is what's going to happen and that you can still bet on that. So there's some classic ones, some highlights. Will Cody Rhodes cry during his match with John Cena? Yes, -200. No, +150. Will Cody Rhodes' dog make an appearance during WrestleMania 41? Yes, -200. No, +150. Who will Paul Heyman leave with at WrestleMania 41? Seth Rollins -225. CM Punk +165, Roman Reigns +200.
So let's talk about that last one right there, the Heyman one. So just walk me through. If I put $10 on each one of those Rollins, Reigns, Punk, how much money do I make off of Rollins?
So if you bet, the number they give you is based on how much you would need to bet to win $100.
Gotcha.
So since Seth Rollins is -225, you would have to bet $225 to get 100. Now with CM Punk being +165, that means if you put 100 on him, you will win an additional $165.
Okay. American sports gambling, still confusing to me. Let's just use the European system, people. Because it's just 3-1. And it's okay, if you put down $1, you get 3 back. Okay, cool. That works for me. But let's -7,000. No, thank you. All right. We're never going to get a gambling sponsor, are we? So again, pre-show, we talked about before the break there about Rey Mysterio being injured on Friday Night SmackDown and Rey Fenix being tapped to take his place in the match against El Grande Americano. As we start off the show, surprisingly, at Elimination Chamber in Toronto, they did do both the American National Anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, and the Canadian Anthem, Oh Canada. Obviously, this was right as all of the stuff with Canada was just starting, and the Canadians obviously booed the Star Spangled Banner, as they have every right to do. WrestleMania starts off with Jelly Roll singing God Bless America, which I thought was an interesting take. God Bless America is a good song and should be the national anthem. Triple H comes out to give his, I guess, yearly tradition of the state of the WWE.
Essentially, yeah.
Kind of just to be hey, this is the WWE's big show. It is, quote unquote, their Super Bowl of wrestling. And so it is important for Triple H to come out, make a show before the fans, and kind of set the stage, if you will, before we get started. Speaking of getting started, we start with some cross promotion for Fatal Fury, which we learned is a fighting video game. Let's just get to it. The first match starts out with main event Jey Uso versus Gunther. You know, this has been going on now for months. There's all the critiques of it. I just want to dive right into it. Like, the ending was underwhelming beyond belief.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. The match had good, ring psychology and good story. It started with Gunther just starting beating Jay's ass, right? Like you would expect.
Yeah, it was really just Gunther beating down on Jay.
And then they had the rise and the fall. Jay comes back, hits a spear. Gunther fights back again for a power bomb and a fuck pin, right? Where he just stacks on top of him. Gunther even tries to cheat and use the title.
Yep.
Jay comes back, starts using Gunther moves on him, hitting him with the power bomb, and even putting Gunther into the sleeper hold.
Yep.
And there's a lot of ways they could have cut it from here, and they had Gunther tap out in 20 seconds.
I don't even feel like it was 15.
Like, all the times that throughout this thing, like throughout this feud, they've done like the pass out spot, like I've talked about. Like let Gunther pass out, go down on his shield. He doesn't look like this. Like, again, unless they use this for like a big like introspective moment for Gunther, like, and I think that's giving them too much credit. Like, they should have let Gunther do the pass out spot, and then, like, again, great match, bad finish.
Yeah, and I don't think Gunther's character has the room for that sort of emotional maneuverability. Like, if they want to figure out the character and do something else with it, but I think right now, like, Gunther he's a big bad bully. Like, that's pretty simple. I hate to say it, it's one dimensional, but it is what it is. Moving on, we have New Day sucks versus the War Raiders. The New Day they both come out in, I guess, the jumpsuits. Yeah, jumpsuits.
I'll say jumpsuits, yeah.
That are reminiscent of Giant Gonzalez from WrestleMania 9, which is really funny if you go back and watch the WrestleMania 9 documentary that WWE put out. It's totally it's totally them breaking their wrists to pat themselves on the back. It's like, oh yeah, it was so hard and we were so good at our jobs and it kind of just all went perfectly. And it's like, okay. All right, fine. But yes, no, it was a reference to WrestleMania 9. And then, of course, some more cross-promotion. The War Raiders come out as Clash of Clans characters. I just feel like it's on brand. It's pretty good. The War Raiders physically dominated early, although Eric does slam both Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston against the ring. Surprisingly, do not break any of the video boards. Our commentary team mentions how Xavier Woods stole Alicia Taylor's hairstyle, which I think is really funny. There's some great stuff near the end of the match where Eric is catching Kofi in midair, and he's got both of the New Day rolling around. And then again, just like interrupting their moves, turning into something else really interesting.
A lot of good counters.
Yeah, a lot of great counters. That's the word I'm looking for. There is just a moment where Xavier is being passed between Eric and Ivar, the War Raiders, and Kofi's able to break it out, jumping in from the top. Shoot, never mind. That's Ivar has this incredible Doomsday Salt against Kofi and is nearly pinning him when Xavier Woods jumps down from the top rope. And then
a big elbow drop.
Really big moment there for a New Day. And then later, Xavier is being passed around between Eric and Ivar. I mean, they can just do this, those two big boys. And Kofi is able to break this up from closing out the match. And Kofi Kingston gets the tag, wins the match for the New Day, passes the title over.
Brother, you're not even going to talk about how this finish actually happened?
Oh, I was waiting for you to do this.
Can't jump to the end yet, my guy. So War Raiders are up in the match, and they go for their War Machine, where Eric holds up their opponent. Think like rugby style when you see them kind of lift by the shorts. and Ivar runs, bounces off the second rope, and delivers a clothesline. Very similar to the Blockbuster Doomsday device we were talking about earlier, but again, kind of done off the spring of the second rope with the side instead of climbing the top rope. When Ivar goes to jump off the rope, Kofi pulls the rope down, so Ivar falls. That's what allows Xavier to get the up on Eric. Kofi then tags in, right? And then they end up hitting daylight, as they call it. Basically, the one holds the guy over their knee, the other one comes in, right, and delivers a elbow drop on the opponent. 1, 2, 3, and then New Day get the hell out of Dodge. Immediately, Kofi runs to the table, grabs the titles, and they're at the top of the ramp. Now they're talking all their shit.
Yeah, and that's where they taunt the War Raiders at. And then we go to Jade versus Naomi. As Naomi comes out pretty normally, we then cut to Jim Cantore from the Weather Channel giving an introduction for Jade, where he talks about how the storm is brewing. I don't think you were paying attention during
Absolutely
this.
not.
I was like, holy shit, that's Jim Cantore from the Weather Channel. I'm just showing myself as a white middle-aged dad, essentially. So Naomi is on the warpath, right? She wants to take Jade down so she can reunite with Bianca, show that she's Bianca's best friend. Bianca was making a mistake going with Jade. And, while Jade struggles at the beginning of this match, Naomi is flipping all over Jade. They're in and out of the ring. Jade is dragged back into the ring by Naomi. There's a point in the middle of the match where Naomi is just doing some ground and pound on Jade, and she's able to fight out. And Jade has this big tilt-a-wheel backbreaker.
Tilt-a-whirl, yeah.
Tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. And that's kind of where the momentum changes. Jade has a big power slam. Again, making that momentum, having that momentum move. Jade has Jade hits a power slam on Naomi, and it's like very clear that the tide has turned completely. And Jade hits another one of those into her. I'm not sure what that finish is, where Jade is facing away from Naomi on top.
Facing? What do you mean on top? What does that mean?
I call that a reverse cowgirl hold.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Do you mean like her actual, like, just regular finishing move? Do you mean Jaded? Like,
yes.
Where she picks them up, right, and then slams them, and then does the rollover? Yeah, I think that's what I meant. But I was just like, in my notes, it's just that.
Filthy. Yeah. Sorry, Mom. She doesn't listen to this. So I don't feel too bad. Anything else on Jade versus Naomi?
Not a whole lot. Some interesting moves. Jade showed her strength. At one point, catching Naomi and turning it into a jackhammer, which is basically like a stalling suplex into one of those power slams you talk about. Very interested to see where this goes. I wonder if Jade's going to actually close this door and go on to maybe like something looking at the title picture.
I would hope so.
Is this going to become time for them to end Bianca at all, do something? So I'm just very excited to see where this goes for Jade.
Yeah, I hope Jade goes for some form of a title run. That would be better than anything, than continuing this feud out. I feel like at this point it's over and done with. Jade beat Naomi. Naomi's point has been disproven. So,
if you think that's ever stopped them from running things back before, you are out of your mind.
Running things into the ground, perhaps. As we continue with members of the Bloodline, it's Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight for the U.S. Championship. While Jacob Fatu comes out in a Spirit Halloween mask, LA Knight pulls up in a Maserati. Of course, he's not driving it. And this match is great. Early on, Fatu counters a BFT and gets back up and does a huge Samoan drop on LA Knight. Fatu gets another backbreaker on LA Knight. Like, it's just like Fatu, basically. LA Knight at one point does get to flip Fatu, but again, Fatu hits the Swanton Bomb. And as LA Knight does turn a midair move from Fatu into a BFT. Fatu puts his hands up on the rope to avoid the pin count.
Yeah, LA Knight does a lot of really cool stuff here. Mm-hmm. Like you said, early, it's all Fatu. He catches LA Knight, does a belly to belly, literally pulls them both together, slams him over his head. LA Knight turned his normal like springboard elbow where he goes second rope, top rope, then does the big elbow. Yeah. Jacob had stood up, so he hit it to him while he was standing. That was awesome. Right, Knight catches Jacob in the middle of a moonsault to hit the BFT. And although Jacob ends up pulling it out here, he hits 2 of his patented springboard jump up moonsaults and becomes our new United States champion.
Yeah, so LA Knight holds the U.S. Championship for I think it was like less than 45 days. So it'll be interesting where Knight goes next. Will he try to rematch Jacob Fatu here for the U.S. Championship? Where does he go next? And for Jacob Fatu, it adds a lot more complexity for the bloodline because of what happens later.
Yeah, absolutely.
So next up, we have Luchador versus Lucha Don't.
God damn it.
I just came up with that.
I don't believe you.
No, I just came up with that. I promise.
I don't believe you.
I promise. It's Easter. Don't you believe me? Alicia says the Gulf of America as El Grande Americano comes out. Michael Cole corrects her, says it's the Gulf of Mexico. Great. Yeah, let's keep going with this. As El Grande Americano makes it to the ring, he beefs with Viking of AAA, AAA, the Lucha Libre promotion that was just purchased by the WWE. The purchase was finalized and announced yesterday.
Yeah, during the show, I believe, or right before the show.
Right before the show. Yeah. So, this started out just classic Lucha Libre stuff. I think that's literally a quote I just stole from you.
No, absolutely. A lot of really nice arm drags. They did one thing that's very Lucha is like a test of strength. When you see both guys kind of grab each other's hands, to the point where they're still holding each other's hands. They're both on their back and they're taking turns, like bridging up on their necks to avoid the pin. And again, just very fluid, very technical, as disrespectful as the character is to Lucha, the way that they are pulling off these moves and the match they had is very respectful of it.
Our critique of El Grande Americano wouldn't be as derisive if it was just handled better.
Absolutely.
It
has nothing to do with his style. It's not like any I was worried it's gonna be trying to be some kind of bastardization of Lucha, and it would be try and put the American spin or something. No, again, he comes out and he's had some very classic sequences and very reminiscent of just regular good old Lucha Libre.
Yeah. While somebody mentions that El Grande Americano is a luchador, Michael Cole has a very valid crash out, as the youth say, and goes, "He's not a luchador. He's Chad Gable." Fabulous.
But I'll give it to Chad El Grande Americano some absolutely wonderful moves. He hit a 450, right? So a full revolution and then another 90 as a moonsault onto Rey Fenix.
This was also my move of the match.
There's also a point where he tries to take off Rey's mask. Again, leading Mike Cole to be like, well, if he were really a luchador and respected, he wouldn't be trying to remove his mask.
Exactly.
And then the classic, Pat McAfee and whatever else being like,
that's a pretty good Pat McAfee.
Thank you. And of course, El Grande Americano puts that piece of metal back into his mask. Rey Fenix comes back a little bit after this, but goes and delivers the Goodbye Amigos kick where he runs on the top rope and kicks you in the head, but kicks the steel plate. He is now limping and has a bad ankle, which is very funny because El Grande Americano then goes and he's like, oh, hurt leg. Let me put in the ankle lock. And he puts it on the wrong leg. Rey Fenix kicks him with his right leg.
Wow.
El Grande Americano puts an ankle lock on the left leg. But that metal plate ends up being the reason. He goes up, he hits a flying headbutt, and that's all she wrote.
We're not excited to see where this goes, but we'll be here for it. Moving on to something that we are excited to talk about. Prior Lake, Minnesota's finest. Somebody responded to a comment I mentioned. I like talked about Tiffy on a comment, and she was like, "Oh, I managed Tiffy at the casino." I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So we'll see what we can do there.
Oh hell yeah.
See if we can make a connection. It's Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair again. The women's champion versus the once 14-time champion Charlotte Flair, gracing us with her presence. While Tiffany comes out in this like full Barbie aesthetic, she comes out in a Barbie box, and then on the side of her are two identical boxes with a video board where she would be, and it's just like different versions of Tiffany. It's just the full Tiffany, the full Barbie aesthetic. Charlotte, on the other hand, pulls up in a Rolls Royce. And then she's just got a robe. They're playing the song. It's just like, okay, cool, whatever. Blah, 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 blah.
Very early on in this match, Tiffy starts bleeding.
Yeah.
It certainly looked like they certainly had some issues with each other that may or may not have been handled inside this ring tonight from a couple different things. And it was a lot about working the limbs, meaning both of them kind of picked a different body part and worked on it. It ended up both being, right, the legs or the knees. Charlotte kind of chasing this whole time for this this figure 8, right? And then Tiffy just being a pain in the ass and doing it right back.
And going specifically at Charlotte's braced knee in a brace.
Yes, the knee that she, while she was out for so long, was for ACL surgery, so attacking the braced leg.
Yeah, ugh. While the crowd chants, Charlotte sucks, Charlotte sucks, we get a show me what you got, and Charlotte just beating up on Tiffany. While Tiff does get a good kick out, Charlotte throws Tiffany down from the top rope and hits a natural selection on her, and Tiffany kicks out of that, thank goodness.
So the natural selection is that Tiffy is basically on her hands and knees, and Charlotte jumps over her and grabs her head as she's jumping over, kind of like a modified bulldog of some sorts.
Okay.
But it was super cool. I also love that at one point Charlotte puts Tiffy in the figure 8, and like Tiffy is like trying to get to her, and then she's like, you know what, F this, and just starts punching the braced knee of Charlotte. She's like, you know what, F this, like, just starts hammering her knee until Charlotte lets go, and I'm like, that's awesome. That's the smartest thing I've seen anyone do tonight, and you win. You deserve to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us more about that final sequence there.
So more back and forth at the end, more looking very real hits. Some potatoes were flying, as they say, some real heavy punches. Didn't really seem pulled, some potatoes.
A potato.
And it ends with Tiffy hitting the prettiest moonsault ever and retaining with a giant scratch on her forehead, what many people thought might have been some cracked or missing teeth, which turned out not to be. She posted after.
Oh, thank goodness.
She showed a picture after, but she was only showing her top teeth. Literally, it was weird. I'm going to do it to Charlie now because it's so great on a audio podcast, but she was like, so the bottom might be screwed up. Like, literally, she was doing like if you're saying like a V or an F and you're like the va-fa, the McGurk effect. Any McGurk effect fans out there?
Okay, yeah. Is this like Coach McGurk from Home Movies?
No, this is not.
Oh.
No, this is a thing in psychology that they can play the same sound, like someone saying va or ba, and your eyes will see what the other person's mouth does and then fill in the sound, even if they play the same sound.
It's like the sound alike. It was like Yanny or...
Sort of.
Okay.
Sort of.
Okay.
It's the same realm.
Interesting. Really interesting stuff.
But again, main thing is Tiffy retains. Tiffy time keeps ticking.
Tick, 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 tick. Now, for the main event of Mania Night 1, WrestleMania 42, Night 1.
41, Night 1.
And now, for the main event of WrestleMania 41, the triple threat match, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns.
So, triple threat match, there are no DQs, there are no rope breaks, there are no countouts. This is very much anything goes. My first notes are due to my cat Toby sitting on my keyboard. So he has period M, a lot of tiltas, and then GTGETG, 2, and then a bunch of @ signs. My first note is when Roman comes out and he goes to take off his Ulafala, right, his big necklace, and turns, because normally he uses it to Paul Heyman for the matches.
Yeah.
Heyman comes out with CM Punk again, the whole idea of this favor and everything else. Roman just very sadly puts it in the corner, like under the ropes, and I'm like, oh man.
On Holy Saturday, we're not going to talk about Seth. We're not going to talk about Seth coming out in the hefty bag. And then...
Everyone knows the fit check's on you.
Okay. Sorry. So Seth comes out first, and he's got like this black hefty trash bag thing going on, and we're all like, Seth, baby, what's going on here? But then the cameras black out, and I was like, oh no, Peacock blacked out, or like your internet crapped out, or something.
I thought it was a Peacock thing, because there was some buffering in the pre-show. I'm like, this thing's gonna explode during the finale.
And then it comes back on, and Seth is just wearing full white, like
all white.
Like his suit coat goes down to the floor, and then his glasses. He's got the big pit vipers, but the sides are reminiscent of a crown of thorns.
That's the Monday Night Messiah to you.
Monday Night Messiah, and again, like WrestleMania happening over Easter weekend, and I think it's really like I wanted to hit this point a little bit because I know. Some listeners may not be familiar with the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, but the crown of thorns was used to mock Jesus Christ, right? You know, Christ talked about it being like the King of Kings, but you know, the Pharisees and the Romans and the citizens wanted, you know, they saw him as King of the Jews mockingly, right? And so the crown of thorns is derisive. But it's also, the church uses it now as a symbol of perseverance and like martyrdom almost. So it's really interesting to see how Seth uses that in his character, like where he's like, I've sacrificed so much for this company. I've done so much for this business. I've been here for the business. He's often taking on this like his character as a portrayal as a martyr. Mm. I thought that was really fascinating. I've been thinking about this.
I thought it was a great choice. And again, it fits the whole Messiah bit and everything else he's done before. Like, I think it was a very good choice and very well executed.
In the words of Charlie Day, I'm in love with a man named Jesus. So yeah, while Seth and Roman just come out, and Seth does get a little circumstance with his pomp, Punk gets his own little pre-tape, but that's because we get In Living Color live to play Cult of Personality as Punk walks out, which I feel like is really cool.
Same happened at his last WrestleMania, where he came out with Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman did the same thing where he stuck his watch in front of him before he did the It's Clobberin' Time.
Yeah, so the one note that I have here is I'm sure that won't come up again, or I'm sure that won't come up. You know, as the match starts, the bell rings, Punk rolls out and talks to Heyman, sort of mocking Roman and Seth Rollins.
He's getting a plan.
He's getting a plan together. It's not like you've had like a week to figure that out.
Only a week. That's all he's had.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. I don't know. You know, Seth's just whining automatically earns him the ire of Roman. Roman just starts beating up on Seth, and Roman does plead with Heyman, right, to see if we can end this. We can get Heyman back on Roman's side, and win this match. As Roman and Seth go out into the crowd, you know the custom chairs. Yeah. So Seth was using one of those to beat up on Roman, which was fantastic. And then, Punk was using a custom chair to beat. Punk was using one of the custom chairs to bash Seth, and then Seth used the trash can on Punk, and then Punk suplexes Seth into a trash can on the concrete floor.
A lot of great fighting back and forth, just different pockets of them fighting each other, different parts where they work together and then they don't. There's a point where Roman and Punk do a doomsday device that we've talked about a couple times today. On Rollins, there's a point where they're on the outside and Seth tells Roman, like, let's do it together. And they set up Punk for the shield bomb, where it was always a loaded power bomb through the announce table. Once Seth has Punk set up, Roman then punches Seth Rollins, knocking him back, and then powerbombing Punk himself, saying he doesn't need that. We saw many uses of Punk's Anaconda Vice finish. Basically, he sits down next to you while you're laying down, bends your one hand behind your neck, goes behind your head with one, wraps with the other. Big finish for him during his ECW time.
So while Punk has Roman in an Anaconda Vice, you're wondering, like, where is Seth? Where is Seth? Seth jumps from the top rope.
Here he is.
Seth picks up Punk, throws him onto the buckle. And while Seth and Roman are dealing with their business, Seth turns a spear opportunity from Roman into a pedigree and nearly gets the pin on Roman. Again, Seth trying to reason with Roman, create the alliance, the greater good. This is where Roman picks up Seth and Punk and slams them both against the reinforced tables. I've seen the older tables crash. That's a classic spot, but I haven't seen it in the new tables.
That's been like their selling point, is like, you're really not supposed to be able to, like, they're supposed to be reinforced.
Oh, but they fell apart like Legos.
I think we got worked, brother. I think it might not be real.
Yeah, no. It's not real?
You ready to get into this wild finishing sequence here?
Oh my goodness, let's get into it.
Okay.
I'm just going to close I'm closing my iPad because it's all up in here right now.
So both everyone's laid out in the ring.
Yep.
Both Punk and Roman are facing to the side where Paul Heyman is, just both like, oh damn, like they are beat. Paul goes, he picks up a steel chair, and he's doing the classic, like, which one do I shoot when there's a copy of someone and they're not sure which one's the real one.
Yep.
He was basically like, oh, who do I give the chair to? And he slides it to Punk. Right? Everyone's going nuts. Okay, he stuck with his best friend. He picks Punk. Punk goes, picks it up, goes to hit Roman with the chair. Low blow by Paul Heyman. He has double-crossed CM Punk. And he's picked Roman.
Yes.
So now Roman...
we think he's picked Roman.
So Roman goes, now he's going to take everything that he has right out on Seth Rollins. Again, it's another setup to return the chair shot that broke up the Shield, that started, the big bang of this new WWE time. And there's a triple cross. Heyman low blows Roman. He picked Seth the whole time. Seth hits a couple steel chair shots, a couple stomps, walks out of there with Paul Heyman.
Well, after pinning Roman.
Oh, yeah. Gets the dub. Pins Roman.
Gets the win.
Yeah, a couple steel chair shots, a couple stomps.
Yeah.
Pins Roman. And then his own wise man.
Wild. Like a great ending to the first night, honestly. Like, we were underwhelmed by some of the matches. We were a little underwhelmed by Jay and Gunther, and where that ended up, we were a little underwhelmed by El Grande Americano and Rey Fenix. But this really felt worth it. This really made the entirety of the show worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, fantastic night one. We literally have night two starting in less than half an hour here. So we're only going to talk about one thing with night two. You can go to our last episode to hear our predictions, right? Drop in the comments how we've done so far, how you did so far with your predictions. But we want to talk about that Bayley will no longer be tagging with Lyra Valkyria tonight versus Liv and Raquel.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be right back with that in just a moment here on The C Show. And we're back on the C Show. We're wrapping it up here real quick. We've got one piece of news. So the big tag team matchup for Sunday night at WrestleMania 41 is Liv and Raquel versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. However, as of recording, it's 6:30 Eastern on the
Sunday
20th.
the 20th.
Sunday,
Easter Sunday.
Yes, April the 20th of the 4th month of the year. We have learned that Bayley has been removed from this tag team partnership for creative reasons.
I saw a couple other reports saying this was planned the whole time. This was not a sudden thing, but it certainly seems very weird to run a whole storyline for, a month and change, and then be like, nope, we always planned to change right before.
Yeah, it's a little concerning.
There's a lot of speculation around about who will fill in.
Yeah.
There's video of Becky Lynch going around being obviously in town hall for Seth yesterday.
Yep.
Right now, there's a lot of things. There's history with her and Lyra from their times overseas.
Yep.
So there's a big thing there. I don't think it's going to be Becky. I really don't know. Like maybe Roxanne finally gets that full-time call up.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Roxanne Perez. Okay. And then Stephanie Vaquer is also in NXT, right?
Yes, she won the 4-way at Stand and Deliver yesterday.
Gotcha. Okay.
For the NXT Women's Championship.
Yeah, I think Roxanne Perez honestly would be a good shout for that. So,
yeah, involves some stuff with Bayley, ready to make the big jump up. Mm-hmm. You can put her immediately in this women's mid-card feud on Raw. I think it will do.
Yeah. Well, you now know, because this has come out already, or this match has already happened as this episode comes out. So, let us know in the comments how close we were, where this goes next, what your thoughts are. But yeah, that's it for our special edition WrestleMania Part 1 of 2. The second part of WrestleMania 41 recaps will be coming out. We'll be aiming to have this out normal time-ish on Thursday. If we get it done early, it'll be coming out later on Wednesday night. Thank you so much for joining us on the C Show. Connor, anything else before we head out?
Let's see if night 2 holds up.
I'm really excited. So.
Again, another match to decide, as they say, the history, the fate, the future of the business.
The future of the business.
When we talk to you next, maybe the business will be changed.
Who knows? Well, thank you so much for joining us on the C Show. And again, we'll be back on Thursday to talk about the fallout from WrestleMania Night 2 and Monday Night Raw as well. So thank you again for joining us on the C Show. Thanks again for joining us on The C Show. Follow The C Show on social media. We're on Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, and YouTube at C Show Pod. Have a question for us? Also send it in an email, cshowpod@gmail.com. You can find me, Charlie, on Instagram at CharlesFStew and on Blue Sky at CharlesFStewart.com. Connor is on Blue Sky at bsdoj.bluesky.social. The name is Cliff. Thanks to our friends Amir and Patrick for their assistance. The C Show is a production of 832 Media. Thanks again for tuning in.